Alright, there's a lot to do in Denerim.
Good day.
As there is but one world, one life, one death, there is but one God, and He is our Maker. They are sinners who have given their love to false gods.
What? No mention of dessert?
Eliminate the criminals preying on innocent folk in Denerim's back alleys. In these dark times, we must work together against the common threat. Sergeant Kylon has brought disturbing news that should anger all righteous people. In our own alleyways, footpads, muggers, and miscreants lie in wait to profit from the chaos of our times. They infect us like a plague. A reward is available for any information on these lowlives. Sergeant Kylon has also offered a heavy purse for any brave souls that can best these brigands and make Denerim a safe place once again. This humble chanter has added to the reward as well. May the Maker bless all who heed this call. Find Rexel. Recently, our hearts were lifted when many survivors of the Battle of Ostagar returned to us. Maker bless these men and women, and have mercy on those who fell defending our children from the blight. Sadly, one of these heroes has gone missing. Rexel served in Terran Logain's vanguard with distinction. Upon his return, his wife said he was prone to quiet reflection and frequented the local taverns. One afternoon, he left his home and never returned. This chanter was moved by the family's grief and is offering a pouch of coin for anyone who finds this hero. The chant says, "In saving one man, you save us all," for if each of us lends a hand to aid his neighbor, anything is possible, especially now. Fazil's request. Find Fazil's sextant. Master Fazil of the esteemed Guild of Free Sailors has informed this chanter that while about guild business he was waylaid by bandits vile guile and other chicanery. He lost many valuables, but in particular an antique sextant was removed forcibly from his person. This sextant is of considerable symbolic value as it belonged to the first guild master of the Free Sailors. Master Fazil described his assailants as masked, of foreign descent, perhaps Tevinter or free marches, and unusually coordinated and crafty. He has placed a hefty sum of coin with this chanter for the return of his sextant, that is all. Brothers and sisters, word has arrived of an imminent conflict. Terran Logain's honored forces continue to root out threats to our nation, and their actions deserve support from the common people. While it is unusual to post troop movements to the public board, I believe it is necessary for brethren near the affected area to respect the honored Terran by aiding his troops. Provide whatever comfort you feel they deserve, and Ferelden will be the stronger for it. Treat these brave soldiers as you would treat Logain himself, and the spiritual rewards will be generous. Brother Nigel.
Magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him.
While they tend to be careful and judicious in their use of force, the Templars do indeed make mistakes. I understand that several relatives of our friends among the collective will soon become targets of the Chantry, and while I trust that this will not lead to lasting harm for those innocents, I wish to ensure that those targeted are fairly warned and evacuated before the Chantry can send its message. I ask that a noble soul take the bundle of vials attached to this missive and find the 4 homes the Chantry is likely to target in Denerim. Mark the front door of each home with the goat's blood from the vials. Those relatives will understand the message and evacuate before the Chantry can threaten them. The collective is saddened at the absence of the great mage Reynold. Our friend has not been seen in quite some time, and our gatherings are the lesser for the loss of his tales of ribald exploits and the aroma of his delicious twice-baked meat pies. Reynold was last seen traveling in the direction of the Brazilian forest. Oh, how he did so love the outdoors. Anyone who returns with evidence of the whereabouts of the beloved mage Reynold will be rewarded.
Leave me to my business.
Sure will.
You here to report another crime? I swear we should just cordon off the entire district. Oh, can I help you, Warden? The lower market isn't deemed important by the captain of the guard, even less with Al Howe in charge. So when I finally get the new men I request, I get the delightful surprise of discovering their Lord Such-and-Such's illegitimate, untrained, moronic whelps. But lords keep sending me more of them. It's decent pay, no expectations, a uniform. So I have a legion of bastards to protect the market from pickpockets, stabbings, and whatnot. And Al Howe's specially picked men are the worst of the lot. With the bastards, I just have to worry about dicing, the odd bit of drool, or yelling at them too loudly and hurting their poor feelings, and then getting chewed out by their noble fathers. But I swear, the Arl's men are more criminal than the miscreants we occasionally arrest. Some of them are the criminals we have to arrest. So if your lifeblood isn't draining in the gutters as we speak, don't bother reporting it. What? You're serious? I mean, yes, I could use help. I've got a pretty popular establishment that's crawling with mercenaries. If I send my boys in, someone might get, maker forbid, hurt, and I'll have to explain to their noble fathers that being a guard is actually dangerous. The name of the whorehouse is the Pearl. Beat down any mercenaries that are out of line and send them a message. I said beat down, not kill. Let me make that really clear. Not on fire, or exploded, or make a nose, whatever type of grisly death you can dream up. Sorry. Used to giving orders to my boys. Just leave them breathing and I'll be happy. Thank you, Warden. Happy hunting.
All right.
Burn sugar here once. Here goes.
Some emporium you got here, Wade.
What?
I finished.
When last we embraced, one noticed the redolence of another's company, but one was unmindful. Whatever.
Corinne, the bloody customers are bothering me again. What do I pay you for, anyhow?
Sorry. Wade is a genius. Truly, you will be astonished by his work. But he doesn't deal with customers. If you need anything, please ask me.
And tell her I don't want her looking over my shoulders making doe eyes at me either. I'm thinking, blast it all.
Truly sorry, sire. Welcome, friends. Welcome to Wade's Emporium. We have the finest armors in Denerim, maybe in all of Ferelden. How may we assist you? No, he can't.
Did I hear right? You are a woman. You have drake scales? Look at this, Heren. It's real. Some never see a single scale in their lives. I must make this. Tell the, customer, is it? I'll drop everything to work on this immediately. Cost. I should be paying you, friend, for the right, no, the privilege.
Pay him? No, Wade, no. We'll charge you.
I'll hear nothing of that, Heren. This is my shop, and working on drake scales won't cost a bloody Orlesian penny. It will take however long it takes. Don't rush the masterpiece, my good lady.
Yes, that's right. It could take months, years even. You should just leave.
It won't take that long, Heren. Unless I did some inlays of... Oh, I know.
Yes, it wouldn't be complete without the, inlays. Of course, the customer would have to agree.
Excellent. You won't regret it. Think of the possibilities, Heren. Think of it.
I'm trying to stop.
Alright. Lost 10 gold. That's okay with me.
You're here about your order?
I've barely even begun and you're pestering me.
Oh, get back to work. Come to see our fine goods before they sell out? Certainly.
Okay. Alistair doesn't have much strength. But we need to get his defense up. That is better.
You're here about your order?
No, I'm not.
Oh, get back to work. Certainly.
Right.
Of course. What now?
Don't stare at me, Joe. I can have my father send you south to fight Darkspawn, you know.
I already am fighting Darkspawn, so big whoop. Okay, the undead exhumed, born from the shallowest graves, mined from the living by the Paragon Lynchar 744 Storm. Do you like fried mush and nug? I do not like them, Mr. Clug. I do not like fried mush and nug. Would you eat them on a rug? If you eat, you'll get a hug. I would not eat them on a rug. From you I would not want a hug. Then would you drink them from a jug? Come on, give them a chug. I would not drink them from a jug. I'd rather eat a slimy slug. Would you eat them with a bug? Would you share them with a thug? I would not share them with a thug. I would not eat them from a bug. Not for a hug, not for a rug. From a jug I will not chug. Come on now, Mr. Clug. Are you on some kind of drug? Eat them in this hole I dug. Eat them, don't just shrug. I've had it, Mr. Clug. Down into that hole you dug. Down with the thug and the slug and the bug. By the Paragon Seuss. Never surrender, dwarvish blood may be lukewarm, but vital as ore. There once was a miner of lyrium, whose face looked like a perineum. The dead got him too, not much he could do. With a face like that, he was a shoo-in.
Here. What do you need?
I wasn't... Master Ignacio.
Another visitor in my store. Enjoy browsing my wares. Master Trader Ignacio, at your service, good sir. My cousin and I have trade connections all along the seaways. We have furniture, silks, carvings, and much more. Caesar handles the trade stock, I handle other affairs. Business deals, meetings. Caesar makes it so I am free of the day-to-day concerns of our store. No, I am not. I am a trader at heart. My home is the road, but I was born past the waking sea in Antiva. It has been many, many years since I have seen her, but the road is a better mistress than my home city ever was. On the docks of Rialto, life is cheap as the dockside ale and the soiled whores. You can live a longer life out here, and a wise man can make a comfortable fortune in time. Straightforward, predictable danger is refreshing to me. Any moment in Rialto the streets can run red, and often do. I'd take Darkspawn any day. At least you can see them coming. No. Not yet. Perhaps one day. It has been many, many years since I have seen her. But the road... Luck be to you, Warden.
We're really in an incognito here.
I recognize you. From Ostagar. Andraste's blood. You're a Grey Warden. Duncan's apprentice. You killed my friend. And good King Kalen. I demand satisfaction, sir. So you would compound slander on top of treason? You dare smear Terran Loghain's word? The savior of Ferelden, Terran Loghain, personally told me of the Warden's betrayal. Your betrayal. An uncommon traitor deserves no common death. We will meet on the field of honor, and my blade shall see justice done. Meet me in the back alley behind the Nod Noble Tavern. There we will duel. Make peace with the Maker, sir. These are your last moments.
Okay, it's your death. The History of the Chantry, Chapter 3. It is said that at the Battle of Valerian Fields, Malferath stood and looked out over his armies. He had conquered the southern reaches of the greatest empire the world had ever known, and built splintered barbarian clans into a force to be feared. With pride in his heart, he turned to congratulate his men and found that they had turned from him. Malfarath fell to the evil of jealousy. After all that he had done, his wife was the one to receive all the glory. He saw his wife's power and influence, and tired of his place as second husband below the Maker. His heart swelled with fury. If he had conquered just to have his wife wrested from him by a forgotten god and a legion of faith-hungry rabble, then perhaps this war was not worth the trouble. Here, history and the chant of light come apart. History tells us that Malfarath looked north into the central Imperium and saw nothing but more war against a rapidly regrouping army, and he despaired. The chant of light holds that Malfarath chafed with jealousy of the Maker, and jealousy of the glory that Anjast received, although it was he who had led the armies. Malfarath traveled to the imperial capital of Minrathous to speak with the Archon Hessarian. There he offered up his wife to the Imperium in return for a truce that would end hostilities once and for all. The Archon, eager to put down the voice of the prophet that stirred his own people against him, agreed. Malfarath led Anjast into an ambush where she was captured by Imperial agents, putting an end to her exalted march. Crowds of loyalists stood in the central square of Minrathous to watch Anjast's execution. By command of the Archon, she was burned at the stake in what the Imperium believed to be the most painful punishment imaginable. According to the Chantry, however, Anjast was instead purified and made whole by the flames, ascending to life at her Maker's side. By all accounts, there was only silence where they expected screams. At the sight of the prophet burning, the crowds were filled with a profound guilt, as if they had participated in a great blasphemy. So moving was the moment that the Archon himself drew his sword and thrust it into the prophet's heart, ending her torment and leaving those assembled to consider the weight of what they had seen. Whereas the execution of Anjast was meant to be a symbol of defeat for the faith of the Maker, in truth it all but sealed the fate of the worship of the old gods and paved the way for the spread of the Maker's chant.
Yes? What are you doing here? Brother Genitivi? Why? He was on the trail of the Urn of Sacred Ashes, yes. Whether he found it, the Maker only knows. I haven't seen Brother Genitivi in weeks. He sent no word. It's so unlike him. I'm afraid something has happened. Genitivi's research into the urn may have led him into danger. Perhaps the urn has been lost for a reason. I pray for Genitivi's safety, but hope dwindles with each passing day. I tried to send help, but some knights came from Redcliffe looking for him not long ago. I sent them after Genitivi, and they too have disappeared. No, don't ask me where they went. You'll go after them. And what if ill luck should befall you too? This search is a curse on all of us. Some things are not meant to be found. I know that now. So be it. All he said before he left was that he would be staying at an inn near Lake Calenhard, investigating something in that area. I don't know. All I discovered from going through his research was that he was staying at the inn. Yes, of course he told me, but I also went through his things to see if I could find other clues to his whereabouts. That's not true. I told you everything I know. Brother Genitivi told me about the inn, and that's all. Us? I mean me. There is no us. Bah! Why do I keep up this charade? I gave you a chance to turn aside and forget you ever heard of Genitivi and the urn, but you persisted. Now it has come to this. Andraste, forgive me, I do this in your name.
I'll get on it. Stop it. Now better than later.
Wow, we decimated him to just bones. Okay. So his travels and rather too curious nature led him to a study of folklore, which gave him the notion that he could track down the most debated of all artifacts, the Urn of Sacred Ashes. He announced that he had found what appeared to be the trail of the urn, left in the legends of the regions through which it had passed from Minrathis on its way into hiding. Dragon cults. Let us suggest for the moment that a high dragon is simply an animal. A cunning animal, to be sure, but in possession of no true self-awareness or sentience. There has not, after all, been a single recorded case of a dragon attempting to communicate or performing any act that could not likewise be attributed to a clever beast. How, then, does one explain the existence of so-called dragon cults throughout history? One dragon cult might be explainable, especially in light of the reverence of the old gods and the ancient Tevinter Imperium. In the wake of the First Blight, many desperate imperial citizens turned to the worship of real dragons to replace the old gods who had failed them. A dragon, after all, was a god figure that they could see. It was there, as real as the archdemon itself, and, as evidence makes clear, did offer a degree of protection to its cultists. Other dragon cults could be explained in light of the first. Some cult members might have survived and spread the word. The worship of the old gods was as widespread as the Imperium itself. Certainly such secrets could have made their way into many hands. But there have been reports of dragon cults even in places where the Imperium never touched, among folks who had never heard of the old gods or had any reason to. How does one explain them? Members of a dragon cult live in the same lair as a high dragon, nurturing and protecting its defenseless young. In exchange, the high dragon seemed to permit those cultists to kill a small number of those young in order to feast on draconic blood. That blood is said to have a number of strange long-term effects, including bestowing greater strength and endurance, as well as an increased desire to kill. It may breed insanity as well. Navaran dragon hunters have said these cultists are incredibly powerful opponents. The changes in the cultists are a form of blood magic, surely, but how did the symbiotic relationship between the cult and the high dragon form in the first place? How did the cultists know to drink the dragon's blood? How did the high dragon convince them to care for its young, or know that they would? Is there more to draconic intelligence than we have heretofore guessed at? No member of a dragon cult has ever been taken alive, and what accounts exist from the days of the Navaran hunters' record only mad rents and impossible tales of godhood. With dragons only recently reappearing and still incredibly rare, we may never know the truth but the question remains. Chantry hierarchy. The Divine is the titular head of the Chantry, although since the schism split the Imperial Chantry into its own faction, there are now in fact 2 Divines at any one time. One Divine, informally called the White Divine, is a woman housed in the Grand Cathedral in Valroyo. The other, known as the Black Divine, is a man housed in the Argent Spire in Minrathis. Neither divine recognizes the existence of the other, and the informal names are considered sacrilegious. No matter the gender, a divine is addressed as most holy or your perfection. Beneath the rank of divine is the Grand Cleric. Each Grand Cleric presides over numerous chantries and represents the highest religious authority for their region. They travel to Valroyo when the College of Clerics convenes, but otherwise remain where they are assigned. All Grand Clerics are just as your grace. Beneath the Grand Cleric is the Mother, or in the Imperial Chantry, the Father. If a mother is in charge of a particular chantry, revered is appended to her title. These are the priests responsible for administering to the spiritual well-being of their flock. A mother or revered mother is addressed as Your Reverence. Brothers and sisters form the rank and file of the chantry and consist of 3 main groups: affirmed, initiates, and clerics. Affirmed are the lay brethren of the chantry, whose regular folk who have turned to the chantry for succor. Often they are people who have led a difficult or irreligious life and have chosen to go into seclusion, or even orphans and similar unfortunates who were raised into the chantry life. The affirmed take care of the chantry and are in turn afforded a life of quiet contemplation, no questions asked. Only those folk who take vows become initiates. These are men and women in training, whether in academic knowledge or the martial skills of a warrior. All initiates receive an academic education, although only those who seek to become Templars learn how to fight in addition. Clerics are the true academics of the chantry, those men and women who have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge. They are often found in chantry archives, sages presiding over libraries of books and arcane knowledge. The most senior of these clerics, placed in charge of such archives, are given the title Elder, although such a rank is still beneath that of Mother. All other brothers and sisters are addressed simply by noting their title before their name, such as Brother Genitivi. Oh, wow. I'm not sure who that's for. I'm not going to give it to anyone yet. Alright. Nod Noble Tavern. Okay.
What? The Darkspawn have attacked Lothering. I don't think everyone even had fled by the time they came either. Word has it they swarmed the entire area, making off with prisoners and burning down the buildings, and then they were gone. Just as quick. I wonder if there's anyone left. I heard some chanters were going to head down south, maybe to try to find some survivors. I'm not holding out hope myself. Anything else you need?
R has a small request. It's always useful to have a big name in your pocket, and there's nothing better than snagging them with their knickers down. If, in travels wide, someone were to come across notes between illicit lovers, I have certain specialists who can make the most of the text. Delivered to the bartender, and an investment towards future manipulation will be handsomely paid. D requires swift action. I have trouble. A few of my more excitable young associates got a little nervous during a couple of delicate handovers. Suffice to say, a little mess needs attention. Life is normally cheap, but if word of this gets out, there will be consequences. My men are under close watch, so I would be most grateful for someone willing to take care of this. Coin is assured. K requests the following. The troubles of the new blood seem to find me. I've ruffled some feathers with my alternative tactics, and certain people have had me blacklisted by my primary suppliers. So I put this out there to those enterprising friends who want an ally and perhaps a little coin. 15 toxin extract samples will be more than enough to ensure I can continue building support. Simple, isn't it?
I've heard a lot of stories of bands of darkspawn roaming the countryside far north of the Kokori Wilds. They just seem to appear out of nowhere and disappear just as fast. Anything else you need? Right, I'll show you around.
It's done.
The Legend of Calenhad, Chapter 3. Calenhad's legend tells that Lady Shayna harbored a love for her king that went beyond friendship, a love that she had kept secret out of her sense of duty and honor. When offered a love potion by a witch in disguise, a witch who would later turn out to be the vengeance-seeking sister of Arl Simeon, Lady Shayna gave in to temptation. She used the potion on Calenhad, but Queen Marin discovered the two of them together that night, and, broken-hearted, fled Denerim to return to her father. She told Mirrodin everything, and he angrily threatened to revoke his support of Calenhad and begin anew the civil war. It is said that Lady Shayna felt remorseful at her manipulation of her best friend's heart and confessed her use of forbidden magic to the court. Although her life was forfeit, Calenhad forgave Lady Shayna for what she had done and refused to have her executed. Mirrodin furiously roused the other Arls against Calenhad and Lady Shayna, and it was not long before Ferelden stood on the brink of civil war once again. Against Calenhad's orders, Lady Shayna went alone to Marin to plead for peace and plead her case, only to be found out by Mirrodin and slain. Angered but also saddened, Calenhad challenged Mirrodin to an honor duel, a fight neither of them wanted but both knew was necessary, and Mirrodin was slain. The death of the king's greatest ally, an important Arl, was too much for the young kingdom to bear. The other Arls would not back down in their claims against Calenhad. The threats of civil war rose once again. Calenhad went to his wife one last time then, although none know what he said to her, and then he simply vanished. He left with Marin a proclamation abdicating his throne in favor of the son his queen carried in her belly, who eventually ascended to the throne as King Waylon I, the king credited with establishing the Therin dynasty lasting to this day. Calenhad would never reappear. The legend of Calenhad himself only grew over time as stories and sightings multiplied, even long after the point when Calenhad could possibly still be alive. Some say he disappeared into the Kokori Wilds or went to live with the dwarves or even became a monk in a reclusive chantry order. The chantry named Calenhad one of the anointed in 788 Storm. Calenhad's sword Nemetos was left with Marin and became a symbol of Ferelden kingship over the next century. Rumors of its magical powers grew, and when it was lost in the ambush that killed King Vinedrin in 824 Blessed, it was seen as a great blow to the Therin line. Several false swords have appeared since that time, but never has the true sword resurfaced. I wish I could know which one was added. Oh well.
Just like you wanted. I'm here for you.
I know. Ravane. Nowhere in my travels, not in the heart of the Imperium nor the streets of Orzammar, have I felt so much an outsider as in Ravane. The chant of light never truly reached the ears of these people. The years they spent under the thumb of the Qunari left most of the country zealous followers of the Khun. But resistance to the chant goes deeper than the Qunari War. The Ravani refuse to be parted from their seers, wise women who are in fact hedge mages, communicating with spirits and actually allowing themselves to become possessed. The chantry prohibition against such magical practices violates millennia of local tradition.
Of course.
Oh. My way, all of you. Okay. So, did you not take my love letters? Said to give them to the bartender.
I'm a Crimson Ore! Which way you looking, or we'll rip your damned eyes out and piss in your skull! Another round for
Next,
the men!
drink to battle and victory!
Don't even think you can spill that and leave it for me to clean.
Navarra. The fourth time I attempted to cross the border into Navarra from Orlais and was turned back by Chevaliers, I decided to take the more roundabout path. A ship back to Ferelden, and then another to Navarra. The outcome was more than worth the trouble. The whole country is filled with artistry, from the statues of heroes that litter the streets and even the meanest villages to the glittering golden college of Magi in Cumberland. Perhaps nowhere is more astonishing than the vast necropolis outside Navarra City. Unlike most other followers of Andraste, the Navarrans do not burn their dead. Instead, they carefully preserve the bodies and seal them in elaborate tombs. Some of the wealthiest Navarrans begin construction of their own tombs while quite young, and these become incredible palaces complete with gardens, bathhouses, and ballrooms utterly silent, kept only for the dead. Wow, rich fucks. Okay. You don't need all that stuff after death. Seriously, how can I not, give him my letters?
What? There's outrage over what Tyrn Loghain did to the hunters out of Oswin, letting a man starve, helpless. I think Tyrn Loghain meant that to be a lesson, to make everyone think twice about continuing this fight. It's going to do exactly the opposite, you ask me. Anything else you need?
Do you think they sell silk ribbons in that store? I've been meaning to spruce up my boots for the longest time.
Finally. Okay. Denerim. When anyone in Ferelden speaks of going to the city, they inevitably mean Denerim. There's no other place in the kingdom which rivals it, not in size, population, wealth, or importance. It is the seat of the Denerim family, the capital of Ferelden, the largest seaport, and, by ancient tradition, the meeting place of the Landsmeet. As well, Denerim was the birthplace of Andraste. One of them, anyway, as several other sites claim to have been the Prophet's early home, including Jader and Orlais. The Chantry takes no stance on which site's claim is valid, but it is well known that Andraste was Ferelden by birth. When visiting the pilgrimage sites in Denerim, it is inadvisable to mention Jader at all. The city rests at the foot of the Dragon's Peak, a solitary mountain scarred by ancient lava flows. During Andraste's lifetime, it reputedly filled the sky with a great column of black ash and sent burning rock raining down as far away as the Free Marches, and it is now considered extinct. Some believe it merely sleeps, and will again darken the sky with ash and fire when the last Ferelden king dies, but this is highly unlikely. Thedas is bounded to the east by the Amaranthine Ocean, to the west by Terrashan Forest and the Hunterhorn Mountains, to the south by the snowy wastes that lie beyond the Orkney Mountains, and to the north by Donark Forest. The word Thedas is Tevinter in origin, originally used to refer to lands that bordered the Imperium. As the Imperium lost its stranglehold on conquered nations, more and more lands became Thedas, until finally people applied to the name of the entire continent. The northern part of Thedas is divided amongst the Anderfels, the Tevinter Imperium, Antiva and Ravain, with the islands held by the Qunari just off the coast. Central Thedas consists of the Free Marches, Navarra and Orlais, with Ferelden to the south. What lies beyond the snowy wastes is a mystery. The freezing temperatures and barren land have kept even the most intrepid cartographers at bay. Similarly, the western reaches of the Anderfels have never been fully explored, even by the Anders themselves. We do not know if the dry steppes are shadowed by mountains or if they extend all the way to a nameless sea. There must be other lands, continents, or islands, perhaps across the Amaranthine or north of Parvolan, for the Qunari arrived in Thedas from somewhere, but beyond that deduction we know nothing. So much reading. Anyone who travels far enough to the north will eventually encounter the Qunari, white-haired, bronze-skinned giants, a head again taller than a man, with frighteningly calm demeanors and a sort of sparkling fire behind their eyes. For quite a long time, people believed that all Qunari were male, or that their men and women were simply indistinguishable. It was not until the Blessed Age that diplomats from Ravain were allowed, however briefly, to visit Parvolan, and there they discovered that Qunari females do exist in abundance and are quite easily recognized. The Ravaini say that Qunari have a certain kindness to them, or at least a conspicuous lack of cruelty, although I did not observe the creatures closely enough to evaluate their character. The crowds present at the death of Andraste were right to feel despair. It is believed that the prophet's execution angered the Maker, and he turned his back on humanity once more, leaving the people of Thedas to suffer in the dark. In these dark times, mankind scrambled for a light, any light. Some found comfort in demonic cults that promised power and riches in return for worship. Others prayed to the old gods for forgiveness, begging the great dragons to return to the world. Still others fell so low as to worship the Darkspawn, forming vile cults dedicated to the exaltation of evil in its purest form. It is said that the world wept as its people begged for a savior who would not come. Andraste's followers, however, did not abandon her teachings when she died. The cult of Andraste rescued her sacred ashes from the courtyard in Menrathis after her execution, sealing them away to a secret temple. The location of that temple has long been lost, but the ashes of Andraste served as a symbol of the enduring nature of the faith in the Maker, that humanity could earn the Maker's forgiveness despite its grievous insult to him. With time, the occult of Andraste spread and grew, and the chant of light took form. Sing this chant in the four corners of Thedas, it was said, and the world would gain the Maker's attention at last. As the chant of light spread, the cult of Andraste became known as the Andrastian Chantry. Those who converted to the Chantry's beliefs found it their mission to spread Andraste's word. There were many converts, including powerful people in the Imperium and in the city-states of what is now Orlais. Such was the power of the Maker's word that the young King Draken undertook a series of exalted marches meant to unite the city-states and create an empire solely dedicated to the Maker's will. The Orlesian Empire became the seat of the Chantry's power, the Grand Cathedral in Bioware, the source of the movement that birthed the organized Chantry as we know it today. Draken, by then Emperor Draken I, created the Circle of Magi, the Order of Templars, and the Holy Office of the Divine. Many within the Chantry revere him nearly as equal with Andraste herself. The modern Chantry is a thing of faith and beauty, but it is also a house of necessity, protecting Thedas from powerful forces that would do it harm. Where the Grey Wardens protect the world from the Blights, the Chantry protects mankind from itself. Most of all, the Chantry works to earn the Maker's forgiveness, so that one day he will return and transform the world into the paradise it was always meant to be. Brother Genitivi did a shitload of writing. The Aeonar. When the Imperium occupied the area that is present-day Ferelden, they had two sites dedicated to magical experimentation at the extreme ends of the Imperial Highway. The southern one was the fortress of Ostagar, which looked out over the Korkari wilds. The northern one was Aeonar, although the exact location is now secret, known only to a handful of Templars. Whatever it was the Tevinter were trying to discover at Aeonar, their work was never completed. The fortress was overrun by disciples of Andraste upon hearing the news of her death. According to legend, it was a massacre, eerily silent, for the invaders caught the mages while all but one of them were in the Fade. The site was left structurally sound but spiritually damaged. Possibly because of this, the Chantry chose to put it to use as a prison. Accused Maleficarum and apostates are held in the confines of Aeonar. Those who have a powerful connection to the Fade, and particularly to demons, will inevitably attract something across the veil, making the guilty somewhat easier to tell from the innocent.
Welcome to the wonders of Thedas. We carry items crafted by the Circle, as well as a variety of antiquities. Is there anything you would like to see?
I don't have much gold left. Wait, hold on.
Welcome to the wonders of Thedas.
What else does he have? Oh wow, that's a good one. I don't have the gold for it though. No! Damn it!
Welcome to the wonders of Thedas. We carry
There you go. Much better. Alright, good. Running low on money and I'm not happy about that.